Hey guys, it's Sarah from K7 Farm, and once again we are in my basement. A lot of crazy stuff happens down here, but I wanted to show you my germination chamber. Now this is just an old upright freezer that no longer works, and I've been hanging on to it for a couple of years now, wanting to get this project done. So believe it or not, my very first attempt ended in failure using this germination chamber. All the onions that I started earlier this year, I fried, because I had a heat source that was too strong and a thermometer that was highly inaccurate. So I replaced the thermometer, I reconsidered my heating choices, and we finally got all the kinks worked out. Now this for me was an incredibly affordable way to put together a germination chamber. So I thought that I would share this idea for any of you that might have an old stand-up freezer that no longer works, or you could probably even use a refrigerator that no longer works, and turn it into an area that you can safely germinate your seeds. So I've got some trays in here. I actually just cleaned out a whole bunch of them because they just started germinating and it was time to remove them. But it is simply a heat mat. Now this is one of those heat mats that you would place under a seedling tray. This is not a heating pad. They're like 20 bucks on Amazon, I think. Originally I used a crock pot, a small crock pot, but it ended up being too hot and it was way too humid. I had liquid dripping out of the bottom of this thing like crazy. But I asked my stepdad to drill a hole, so he did, but that way the cord can come in and out. I've just got this sitting on the door here. I tried 2 heating mats and it ended up being too warm, but I got a brand new thermometer. So that's my setup. And it's in my basement right next to my greenhouse. You might be asking about the trays of seeds, you know, oh my, if they're stacked on top of each other, will they even sprout? The answer is yes. A lot of these are offset a little bit, so they're not directly on top of the seed tray below it. However, even if they were touching, seeds want to sprout. The key is you just got to check it every day, sometimes twice a day, and remove the trays as soon as you start noticing things start to germinate. This is an example of a tray that I just pulled out today. You can see there's some things that have just barely started germinating and a couple things that shot up already. You'll notice the pale color to them. That's because they haven't had any light yet. As soon as they get some exposure to light, they will start to turn green and perk up. Interestingly enough, seeds like to sprout at a different temperature than they like to grow at. So it's nice to have a germination chamber where you can keep the temperature a little warmer, which is what most seeds prefer. And then you're not wasting a whole lot of energy trying to heat a larger area. And it provides a safe environment for your seeds to be able to sprout. But then as soon as you notice them start to sprout, just like if you're using a heat mat, you take them off the heat, you get them out of the germination chamber, you put them under lights, and they will continue to grow from there. So do you need a germination chamber? Absolutely not. Prior to all of this, I would stack my trays in totes and keep them in a warm area, or I would put them right into my mini greenhouses that I've got here and wait for them to sprout before turning the lights on. But of course then I'm trying to heat this whole area and keep it a little bit warmer, and then it complicates things because I start seeds at different stages. So I will start some seeds in January, I'll then continue starting seeds throughout the season. So it makes it difficult to keep optimal growing conditions in a greenhouse when I'm trying to sprout and grow at the same time.